out there, and welcome all you fine people to episode 187 of Convincing Idiots. This week, we're going to be discussing all kinds of fun things, like Superman, a golden divorce, Netflix, and our idiots are asking this week, do you out there still get excited for new music? And for our final segment, we're going to be talking about some of the greatest covers of all time. So, without further ado, stick around and let's start the show.
Was that brain damage, Doc Holliday?
I was thinking it was the Beatles with a head injury.
It's Bob Dylan. Come on.
You guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
Test.
Test. Call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the Statman, not just anyone's opinion, the Statman Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
The vodcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian Genix.
And hey out there. My name is Nick, and I'm a millennial. And this is Convincing Idiots, a weekly podcast of three friends representing three different generations. We get together here each and every week to discuss all things nerd and pop culture. So, if you enjoy things like that, then you should continue to come back here each and every week and join us. Where, you may ask yourselves? Well, we are available in basically every podcast platform in which you probably enjoy. Rather than name them all off for you, I could simply direct you to our link tree. Go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, LINKTREE, and you will find not only links to where you can listen to this podcast each and every week, but you can find links to all of our social media accounts in which you should be sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, review, and all the other things. Along with all that, there's even more. You can even find a link to our merch store, which we are now on TeePublic, so be sure to kick on over there and check out what kind of fine garments we have to offer you and your loved ones. You can find all of that information and so much more on
It's
our
an
website.
eye-dropping
It is.
experience.
It is.
Yes.
I know. It's like Dean can't even shut his eyes for fear of
Nope.
missing something that I
That's
mean.
right.
He's a visual listener, so he has to put eye drops in to be sure he doesn't miss
Because I watched the
single
YouTube
word.
part of this.
Yeah. So as well as our link tree, you can also burn out your retinas by following us, watching us on YouTube. You can find all that information and even more on our website. That's convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So be sure to check us out over there. And also, if you don't like computers, but you do have a smart home device, you can also just ask it to play the Convincing Idiots podcast, and it'll bring us right up. So now we've covered it. Now you know where to find us. There's no excuse to ever miss a single word that we say ever again. So we are back here on Convincing Idiots for another fantastical episode. And Brian, what is new with you? How have you been? What's going on?
Stressful week at work a little bit, but okay, hanging in there.
Okay,
Last
well,
weekend
keep
was
those
nice.
bad vibes away from us. So, Dean, what have you
Yep.
been up to? Okay.
Yep.
Once
Try not
stressed.
to do that. I will say last Friday I stopped out. No one was available Friday. That's okay. So I went just out on my own and stopped at the Royal Docks Brewery down in Canton, Ohio. It had a very good marshmallow, like a marshmallow porter, I think is what it was. It was a lager or porter. It was a dark beer. And they toasted a marshmallow on a skewer, had that in the drink itself. But it was a very nice marshmallowy, just very light marshmallowy beer. So definitely would go back and have another one of those. Very, very good. Kind of hung out there. And then, of course, Dean will probably talk about that as well. Hung out Saturday for the lovely Megan's birthday. So Dean will elaborate on that.
Once
I'm
again,
sure.
someone else beats Dean to his only family member's birthday
Yep.
celebration.
Well, he probably forgot anyway. So I'm just reminding him to mention that. And then it was a beautiful weather weekend. So I spent time in setting up patio, furniture, front porch, all that. So all my little outdoor spaces are set up and ready for warm weather enjoyment. So that always makes me happy. It's a nice time of year for that. So that's it. Oh, then tonight, Allie and I took a nice little walk and had some dinner and stuff like that. It's kind of impromptu. Very lovely day today. Nice day for a walk. So that was nice as well. So that's what's up with me. So Dean, how are you? How was beyond the eye drops? How are you doing, sir?
Enjoying allergy season. It's fantastic. But yeah, last Saturday. It was Megan's birthday a couple weeks ago, and we, timing wise, we last Saturday we decided to go and celebrate it.
Mhm.
So Brian and I, Megan and Jeff and her parents and Mike and we all kind of went out and the wine mill had some delicious wines, some terrific food.
What kind of wine did you have? What's your go-to with wine? Like what style? What kind?
I'm a red sort of fella. I like a red blend.
Okay.
But I think I had a cab. Was one of them. But they also had like mixed drinks. I had a couple of those, and then we went over to the Tiki Underground afterwards in Cuyahoga Falls.
Yes,
and enjoyed a couple rum-esque drinks. Rum-filled drinks. Yeah,
it was rummish.
I had this one. It was I think it was rum, but it was coffee and rum and some other things. But it was delightful. It was like an iced coffee, one of those iced coffee drinks, but alcohol. So it was delicious.
Yeah, cool place. We got right in. We got lucky there. And then, I tell you what.
Yeah.
If you're in this area, yeah, stop and check them out. It's not a very big place, so you may have to wait. But we got lucky and got in there. But they don't scrimp on the rum. I'll tell you that much.
No, they don't. And as the summer goes, they have a cool patio that you'll be able to enjoy as well.
Tiki bar out there.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, just hanging out. That's about it.
Nice.
What about you, Nick?
I had a nice little weekend. Saturday we were at the. I have the receipt to show you, and I have pictures even to prove to Brian that I was in fact at the Cleveland Monsters game. It was their final home game of the regular season. So
we'll analyze the receipts and so forth. So that the Convincing Idiot staff check that out.
This has a Kate Middleton AI effect to it. I don't know that I believe these photos weren't doctored. I don't know about that. But, it was a good time. Monsters got torched, but it was a meaningless game. They're in the playoffs, so it was a rough game. A lot of fights, a lot of scrums around the net, almost after every whistle. So it was a good time. Went out and had some dinner at Wahlburgers downtown Cleveland. We like going there. Got some a Wahlbrewski, one of their signature IPAs, which was fine. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but it was good solid beer. And I
was there yesterday.
Yeah, at Wahlburgers. No shit. That's cool.
Doing a little sales visit.
Okay. Out in Cleveland? No shit. Cool. Yeah, so we went out there and that was about it for Saturday. Had a good time. Sunday went over to Ignite and they hosted
event for the Destination Imagination people and all that stuff. So we had trivia. We played trivia and stuff. We came in second place. So I used my one Ignite gift card that I had for my birthday, scored myself another Ignite gift card. So I'm just doubling up and stacking them. So racking them up. But yeah, we took second place. I knew we were in save. We were actually, I think, like the smallest group in trivia. There was only 4 in our specific group, but between the 4 of us, we had pretty much every category covered. And I knew in the second game we were Money in the Bank because we had one of the questions, and it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger answer. The question was about Arnold's character, what his first name was, that also doubled as a language in the movie Predator. And I was like, Dutch. It's Dutch Schaefer for extra points, but Dutch, like it's Money in the Bank. And then our other 2 categories were SNL hosts and NHL teams. So I was like, we got this. Like, save those ones for the big money points. So, but no, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. So I don't want to cause controversy, but I would like to point out the fact that we did as well as we did and came in second. I'd like to see a little tighter security on the amount of Googling that may be happening on people's personal phones during trivia. Just throwing it out there. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm simply, stating something that could be an issue. I don't know. But nevertheless, it was a good time. And I had a good time. Got to see Rochelle out there, one of our new faithful listeners. So, yeah, good time. So that's about it, man. Just hanging out, watching hockey, and gearing up for the playoffs. That's just about it.
Very good. Faithful listener, not by choice, but yep.
Take it either way.
Faithful, required listener. Yes.
Yep. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yep.
Much appreciated as always.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Well, good. I thought your answer was going to be who starred in one of the worst Christmas movies of all time. So that's okay. That's
which SNL host would that have been? Which SNL host was that? I don't
think he was talking about that category.
Can't imagine. What?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yes.
Well, Dean, what eye-popping things have you seen lately? It's been some idiot reviews, sir.
Honestly, nothing. We watched a couple more of the Stranger Things, but other than that, I really haven't had time to get around to anything else. So, yeah.
Okay.
Other than Stranger Things, that's about it.
Very good. Nick, how about you?
I've been keeping my eye on Stranger Things too, but that's just my family. Fun. Fun. Yep. Yuck. No, I watched a couple. I watched a stand-up special of Pete Holmes. You guys familiar with Pete Holmes? So he has a special on Netflix. I'm Not For Everyone, and it was good. It was ebbs and flows. It had a couple spots that it kind of. He had you going for a while, and it was really funny, and then it kind of hit a little dull moment in the middle, and then comes back up at the end. But it was very good. It was all in all, I think it was pretty good. If you're familiar with Pete Holmes and you like his style of comedy, I think it's very enjoyable, certainly. And then I also watched a TV show where we were watching this week's SNL, and by the way, I should actually just say that one.
Very good.
Ryan Gosling is one of the ones. Yes. Much like who was I can't remember. Oh, much like Adam Driver, who's just a current actor in recent years who like every time he's on SNL, it's fucking phenomenal. Ryan Gosling was great on SNL this week. A lot of great sketches. But after that, on Peacock, it just started playing this little special of Mike Birbiglia's called Good One, and it's subtitled a show about telling jokes or story about telling jokes, something like that. So it was good though. It just kind of is very interesting. It's not like your typical special of a stand-up comedian. It shows bits and pieces of his acts, but mostly interviews him and his brothers and family members and stuff, and how he his whole process of how he comes up with the jokes and his formula and kind of goes over his life and getting into comedy and stuff. So very interesting. It was definitely a different viewpoint, like a different approach, I guess, at a comedian's special. Like I said, it wasn't just a guy on a stage with a microphone the whole time. It was, it cuts away in bits and pieces and shows you little bits about his life and stuff and his whole process. So it was very cool. And then on this little kick here of introducing the children, mostly Lane, because Lane's 12, so trying to get him seeing some classic comedies, right? We've done the Happy Gilmore, and we showed him Napoleon Dynamite. Well, this weekend was Step Brothers. So Step Brothers, just for the 12-year-old.
You considered Napoleon Dynamite classic comedy?
Culturally, pop culturally, it's it's one of the biggest. It made a big impact. It was a big movie. So, but Step Brothers was next. So on the barometer right now, Step Brothers was enjoyed more than Napoleon Dynamite, but not as much as Happy Gilmore.
As it should be.
Right in there. So it makes sense. So, and then this is not a movie recommendation, but rather a musical one. Guys, I have found my new favorite band of all time. It's the only music I ever want to listen to ever again. I am a little disappointed that I just found out about them.
Aiden's Valentine.
They've put out 4 albums. They started in 2008. They put out their most recent one just a few months ago. Have you gentlemen ever heard of a band called Austrian Death Machine?
No,
I have not.
If you haven't, allow me to explain. Austrian Death Machine is an Arnold Schwarzenegger obsessed metal band. And it is the side project of, if anyone listening is, I know you guys probably are not, but if you're familiar with the metalcore band As I Lay Dying, Tim Lambesis, the lead singer, this is his side project in which there are intros to songs and little skits in between with someone doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impressions, and every single song is titled after one of his lines in one of his movies. You can enjoy such things as If It Bleeds, We Can Kill It. I need your gun, your shoes, your motorcycle. Put that cookie down. It's turbo time. Fantastic songs, really. It is phenomenal. It's ridiculous and it's over the top as it's supposed to be. But it's fucking heavy and screaming and all that stuff, and Arnold screaming and Tim screaming and the skits in between. It's fantastic. Brian, I will absolutely be sending you some songs. You will very much enjoy them. Austrian Death Machine. Check it out. Do yourself a favor. It's all you'll ever listen to ever again. That's it. That's all I've seen and heard. That's my new stuff.
I don't know what else you need, really.
Nothing. Nothing.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. I saw a couple of new things. I also saw a new stand-up special on Netflix, Neil Brennan. This is Crazy Good. It's fine. It was good. I mean, he's a solid comedian. I don't know a lot of his stuff, frankly. This came up, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't watched a new stand-up in quite some time. It's like 50 minutes, like most of their specials are. So it's definitely an easy watch. It's funny. He's got some funny stuff on there, joking about social media and a few different things on there. So it's good. I mean, it's fairly clean. It's not for kids, but it's not like completely, over the top, raunchy, ridiculous. But it was a solid special. As I mentioned to you guys, I've been watching also on Netflix, Files of the Unexplained. This is like a 7 or 8, I think it's 8 episodes, and it's just every episode just tells a different, alleged true story with different like weird themes, right? So one is on like UFO cover-ups in the government, right? There's a couple of different hauntings. Another one, a guy was allegedly abducted by UFOs, that type of deal. So if you're into aliens or ghosts, hauntings and stuff like that, you'll find some enjoyment with these. It's on
Netflix.
Netflix, half hour each episode, very easy. I don't know if they'll make any more of these or not, but it's one of their more popular shows streaming at this moment. So, so it's some interesting stuff there, and just totally at random. I'm trying to find something to watch here. Pulled up Amazon Prime, one of the recommended movies for me, since I've watched a couple of weird movies, horror movies and stuff. Dug Up popped up in my free horror movies on Prime from 2013. It was pretty much exactly as it looked like in the preview. This is a definitive B movie quality zombie type movie.
Please tell me it's spelled D-O-U-G up.
No, just D-U-G up. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what it's zombies, hillbillies, naked boobs.
Yes.
Violence.
The trifecta.
The devil. Pretty good stuff here. Yeah. So
you had me at hillbillies and boobs.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that could be really the description right there to be like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And you throw some zombies in there, it's like, oh, it's shit. You know, I mean, I don't, you know.
Well,
it's not
shit.
Unlike, yeah, it's not unlike Austrian, was it Austrian?
Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah, it's not unlike that. I don't know what else you need really in a movie. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're looking for just a again, very low expectation, questionable quality effects and everything, it was kind of a fun watch. Dug Up. There you go. That's it. Not a whole lot beyond that. Did watch some NBA basketball playoffs a little bit, the play-in a little bit, stuff like that. But that's really about it.
Warriors are out. Heat are out.
Fun.
Man.
Lakers almost got beat. They should have got beat, honestly. So that was almost fun to watch the Lakers.
They knocked out
and
New Orleans,
the Warriors,
right? The Pelicans, but had them right there on the brink.
They did.
Yep.
They did. Yep. So, oh well. I don't think they get past Denver, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
All right. Very good, guys. Well, we're going to take a break then. And
Dean's going to lube up his eyeballs.
That's right. Dean's going to lube up his eyes. Nick and I, we're going to lube up maybe something else.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly sure.
Hopefully one of your fists.
On or off camera. Yep. And we're going to bring that to you. We're going to be all lubed up.
For my big toes looking a little dry.
That's right. That's right. Pop culture headlines after the break.
Lubed up big toes during the break. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
5, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Convincing Idiots, segment 2. All lubed up and ready to go, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Some terrible, horrible news in the world of pop culture. What's that?
OJ re-died?
No, he didn't re-die. Nope. Matter of fact, I think this... Now, last week, if you listened to last week's episode, if you haven't, you should. But, Nick was, fairly upset about OJ passing away, which was... But I think this is worse news. Worse news for Nick here. A traumatic divorce, gentlemen, in the world of pop culture here. After 3 short months of wedding bliss, the Golden Bachelor,
too soon,
Jerry
man.
Jerry Turner and Teresa Nist have announced they are getting a divorce after 3 short months of marriage.
A reality show wedding and marriage didn't last?
Did not last.
Holy cow!
I mean, it does seem very genuine, though. I mean, they live apart.
Well, Gary's very genuine. Gary's the most genuine man there ever was. So yes, that makes sense.
Yeah. So they live apart. They have a long distance thing going on right now, and they have families in their respective areas, grandkids, etc. So they were trying to find a way to make this work, but both were sort of reluctant to. And I get it.
At this age, if you're too far apart, you can't waste time not fucking it. You know what I'm saying?
That's sure. You can't waste time in general for anything, right? So that's kind of what, and it's what they said. Some people are like, some people ask us, well, why don't we? And they're like, well, they remind you, well, we are in our 70s.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have years to try to figure this out and try to merge and everything else here. So, I mean, did you maybe know that going into a reality show? Maybe that it was a consideration that maybe people don't live that close together, but you're getting publicity and everything else. I don't know. So
that's really what it's about.
That's right. That's right.
Personally, I thought he should have picked the
ahead.
other one from the get-go. So I was like, Teresa was not my pick for Gare Bear. But
who did you like again, Nick? Was this like the gray hair, the fun lady?
There was, no, she rode horses and stuff. She lived on a ranch, and she was just a sweetheart. I can't remember. She's very chesty. I liked her a little better, but I don't know. I just
when in doubt, pick the titty meat.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Yeah. So I don't know. I my heart goes out to Gary and Teresa for that matter. When it's not right, it's not right. And good on them for not wasting any time, for being mature enough, as they both very are mature. Not you don't got to waste time with these types of things. We're not beating around the bush here. We don't need to beat around the bush. I'm not going to make that joke. But Gary needs to get back out there. And someone as pure and wonderful as Gary, it will have no problem finding love. Because, like I said, guys like him at that age are just not floating around. I mean, a gentleman of that age, that in touch with his feelings and that kind, is just they're just not floating around, right? So, if anything, they might be floating, but they're not floating around freely amongst the earth. So, but yeah, best of luck to Gary and Teresa. It was very heartbreaking to hear that, but like I said, back on the horse, as they say. Get back out there, Gary.
Yeah, Gary's killing it on the Our Time app. I understand right now, killing it, slaying it. He can't, his days are filled up. I'm sure.
Well, at his age, isn't killing it just surprising it really suddenly?
There you go. All right, so best of luck to both, certainly in their quest for love and so forth. So, Dean, I wore this hat in honor of the next segment here. So I'm wearing a Superman logo hat here. So
86 years.
Wow.
That's right. So let's start there. So it was Superman's recent birthday, yes?
Yep, that's right. 86 years ago today, the first comic was published. You're probably familiar with the the cover with him lifting up the old car above his human parent's head.
We talked about this last week, actually. That comic sold as the most expensive comic ever sold for $6 million. Right. That was one of our stories last week. Dean, now we're in Northeast Ohio. What is the significance of Superman in this area? Here to share?
The creators of Superman were born here in Cleveland. Actually, there's a plaque up in Cleveland. You can go and where one of them, I can't remember which one, of their childhood homes where they were born, it has a Superman plaque in front of it. You can go visit that.
It's like a historical marker or something. Yeah. Is that correct? Yeah,
that's right.
Now, Brian, what was that like when that first came out and you left high school that day to go buy that issue? Was it
exciting? Yeah. Yeah, you had to work 10 hours. To earn the 10 cents for the comic. That was a long.
Sure.
It was like sweeping up the general store, type deal. But
luckily he was old enough to where child labor laws didn't affect him at that time.
Right. Yep. I could serve milkshakes and alcohol.
That's right.
Which was pretty cool at the time.
Sure.
So
yeah. That's why they kept opium in the sodas, right, or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean Coca-Cola, you had to be careful, because it was, it was more potent, back then, So
yeah.
But
you don't want to go driving around after having a couple Cokes.
That's right. That's right.
It's not like it's 21st century where you can just have Aaron Blake insure you or anything like that.
That's right.
Because let me tell you about Blake Insurance, Brian. If you would have had it back then with your horse and buggy, you could have insured your horse for 10 cents or something like that. Now in the 21st century, you have Blake Insurance, which is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234. Goddamn, trying to
heavy
get through
breathing.
this.
Really excited about Blake
well, that's because I'm masturbating while doing this. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And tell them when you do that the idiots sent him.
Free, that's even less than 10 cents. That's free, baby.
Yep, that's right.
Less than a Superman
That's twice as what he made when back in the 30s.
That's right. Blake Insurance, the kryptonite to high prices and poor service. How about that?
That's right. I like that. I like that.
It's better than Dean saying he's masturbating to it in the middle of the read. That's
right.
First of all,
barely making it through with heavy breathing and so forth. Yeah,
well, you know.
Yep.
What you want to do? 238.
My allergies. My ass.
Just had to bend over there and pick something up off the floor. Jesus Christ.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yep. So the new Superman movie, also speaking of Superman, is coming out next year. So some stories about the new movie are making some pop culture headlines, including the new logo. I don't know if you've seen a picture. So James Gunn has teased the new Superman logo, and it does not look like the logo on that hat, the traditional S. Now, the
does it look like that sweet S we used to draw on notebooks in the 90s?
No, not quite like that.
It's more of the I would say it's more akin to the original logo, like the 1930s logo, or the one after it. I mean, it's not those ones per se, but it's very akin to it.
Okay.
It's very cool.
They kind of did a version of that too in the Kingdom Come graphic novel, where Superman is like the grizzled, angry. It's like an Elseworld story that the Dean has had in his possession of my copy for 2 years or so, give or take. But
you mean this one right here?
There you go. Yeah.
See if we can find a logo here.
It is a cool logo. It doesn't look like a traditional, just like S, which I don't think the original. What did it stand for anyway? It was not S for Superman. It was just a logo.
Symbol that means hope, right?
Hope. Yeah.
That's what it is. That's correct. That's right. Yep. So if you've not seen the logo, you can find it out there. But it's the same colors as the traditional Superman outfit, but just the logo is a kind of a modern version of that S-like logo.
If you can see that, I don't know if we'll get in trouble for showing this, but there's from Kingdom Come.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. And we've have some, again, we're in the Northeast Ohio area.
You mean there's more?
Yeah, there is more. So they're going to film a portion of the movie here in Ohio, maybe in homage for where Superman was born, or it's cheap, or both, or so whatever. But
it's cheap. A lot of superhero movies have been, movies in general have been filmed here.
Yes, we've had some of the Avengers. It's Winter Soldier was filmed in Cleveland. Spider-Man 3 partially was filmed in Cleveland.
The Marvel movie I have been informed, is still going forward here in Barberton, and later this summer.
Which one is it?
The rumor is Blade.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
excellent.
I thought that movie was shelved, but.
No, it's the not next year, the year after. I think 2026, I believe. Yeah. Like, we have a budget of $14 that we need a downtown setting for. And
you could fucking run this town for $14.
Are we going to shut down traffic downtown? How's it going to happen? Nah, it's fine. It's okay. It's fine.
As long as we don't do it on Friday in the summer when there's a concert at the lake. You'll be fine.
Right. And there might be 25 people out there for that, but other than that, we're probably pretty good. No, but they're going to see part of it.
They're actually planning on like destroying the main strip downtown, and it will cost like $36 once it's all said and done.
Yes. Sure. Yes, that's right. Very good. But they're going to film part of the movie in Ohio, and there is a casting call for extras. So if you want a chance to be actually in the Superman movie as an extra, you can apply for that now.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Why?
Well, I mean, it's unfair to the other actors. If I go out there, they see me in the background, then they're going to have to like rewrite and probably fire the guy they hired for Superman because they're going to want this as Superman. So it's just it's not fair to a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and
that's true. That is true.
Zennial Dean is from Convincing Idiots is too recognizable just to be in the background. You know,
that's right.
Right. It's distracting.
Right.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I can't be in it because of Indonesia. It's just crazy over there for my likeness. Yeah, but they're going to film part of it in Cincinnati and in Cleveland, and I think like 30% of its budget is going to be spent here. Of the film budget will be spent in Ohio. So good for Ohio. Good for some local folks. It's going to be in the movie, and it's also pretty cool that they're shooting part of the movie where creators, as you just mentioned, Dean, where some creators were born. So,
and you also know that Nick can't do it because he has those warrants out in Thailand. Well, we can't really talk about it, but
Yep.
Sorry.
Netflix here, guys. So Netflix actually had a very good. So in the streaming wars, Netflix continues to perform very well. Its first quarter 2024 earnings were reported last week, and they had a 9.33 million paid subscriber number reported. Now, certainly, part of this could be the fact that they've cracked down on the multiple logins, so it's harder you can't just share your login with several people like you could in the past. So they definitely cracked down on that. So I'm sure that was a factor. But globally, in quarter one, so they reached. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Analyst consensus estimates were Netflix to add 3.93 million paid globally in quarter one to reach 264 million paid subscribers globally. Pretty amazing stuff for a company that started out just renting DVDs.
Convincing Idiot numbers. Wow.
Right.
Very close. Very close. A little bit more to go. They're about a third of our average listens.
Sure.
So that's good for them. Good for them. They'll keep working on it here. So
we still got their number in Guatemala, though.
Yes,
that's right.
That's right.
And in Thailand, you did that press junket there.
That's all me. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And interesting statistic they've announced on top of that. So even though they're doing very well in their numbers, they've announced that in 2025. They're going to stop reporting subscriber numbers as part of their key performance metric, which is interesting. It's like,
why? Weird.
I don't know why. It's just they continue to gain subscribers. So
I guess when you hit like every person on the planet has your service, I mean, what else can you say?
I don't know. The CEO, Greg Peters, co-CEO Greg Peters said that on the last earnings call we just talked about, their number of subscribers has been a decreasingly relevant measure for the health of the company's business. He cited as an example the paid sharing initiative, which gives primary account holders the option to add an extra member for an incremental monthly fee, and those extra members are not counted as separate subscribers. Meanwhile, with Netflix's advertising plan, higher engagement is tied to higher revenue per member, as opposed to the fixed per sub revenue on the plans with no ads. So they're basically saying we're just going to report out probably like any standard business. Here's our earnings and profits and that type of thing, not necessarily the number of subscribers, because they must think it's some kind of a misleading number. So let's report out on the money metrics instead.
That makes sense.
So yeah. So there you go. I'm not sure looking for a question there or a comment or something like that. I know we all have subscriptions to Netflix. You know what? I think I do watch personally some of these streaming services, but I think I probably tend to watch more Netflix myself than probably the other streaming services. So how about you guys? So I know you have different services. Do you tend to watch more Netflix? What do you tend to watch? Or no, you watch other streaming services, and what are those so you may watch more? Go ahead, Nick.
It depends for me. It's top three all the time. And I would say it's probably top two. Them, the Netflix and Max are probably the ones that I use the most frequently. Those are my top two because they both have a lot of the content that I like to watch on them. We've got like 7 or 8 different streaming services, but those are the big two for me. Right now, I watch Netflix every day when I'm watching Seinfeld on my lunch break, or there's all kinds of great TV series or stand-up comedy specials that I want to watch. Their constant rotation of movies, always, there's always good stuff in there. I like the way that the algorithm is, or I shouldn't say the algorithm necessarily, but the way there's so many subcategories. You could just keep scrolling down and down and going through all the different, little subcategories of things that they have laid out for you because you watch this, because you watch that, and they have all these little different, breakdowns of the content that they have. But I definitely use Netflix, it's even furthermore, if I'm just laying down at night and I don't have anything in mind, I have nothing that I'm aiming for, I'm going to watch this tonight, and I just want to watch something and I'm going to browse, Netflix is the first one I open up every time. It's just it's
opening up
default.
those videos I've sent you.
It's by default. I have thought about it. Yeah, I've decided against it because of that whole on the watch list, the Thailand thing, and I don't.
Yeah, then you're right.
Whatever.
Yeah, don't open those.
That feels like a trap.
Yeah.
But no, Netflix is the default one. If I'm just aimlessly browsing, Netflix is the first one I open without even thinking about it. I don't know if that's because they were kind of the first one, and they don't give me any reason not to continue to use it. Like I said, they keep a good flow of things. There's always something. There's always something to watch on Netflix, and even if there's a few shows that I could just flip on at any time and just kind of zone out to. There's nature shows. There's all whatever. You can just throw on something and fall asleep if that's what you're looking to do. Or there's always classic, comedy movies on there. But yeah, Netflix is still I feel like the number one service for me, at least.
Very good, Dean. What do you think?
Don't bother me. Oh, sorry. No, actually, I canceled all of my other services. I only I only subscribe to Peacock, and I pay double just so I can eliminate all the shows on that besides Night Court and Quantum Leap. So those are the only 2 shows I watch on a loop. Everything else I've canceled. Yeah, of course, Netflix is like I have the smart TV where I have the bottom strip and it gives you the most watched things. YouTube's number one because I go there. The kids watch the quick videos and whatnot.
And ours, of course,
the quick videos. That's right, of course. Subscribe to Convincing Idiots, always. What's Uncle Nick saying this week? That's fun. That's what what they're clamoring for.
I like to serve him a drink next time he's over. Yeah,
they get violently ill when they flip through it. Now, but Netflix is number 2, and then it goes like I think Prime or Apple TV or stuff like that. But yeah, Netflix is definitely top of the list for the same reason you guys said. The choices that you get, my only argument, and I guess it is primarily for Netflix over the rest, is that there's been so many different TV shows, or I don't call them TV shows, but shows in general that you get into that they cancel way too quickly. I think we've talked about this before, but there's been so many of those shows out there and it does make you gun shy to watch a new show because you're like, well, shit, am I going to get into a season? And they're going to, obviously they want to, to continue. So they're going to make the last episode a cliffhanger. And just knowing that you're not going to get to see the conclusion of whatever the story's being told, that bothers me. I know that has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but
answer the question, please.
Then
that Brian asked you.
Then the answer is yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, Netflix certainly they definitely reinvest money into original content. I think that's definitely one thing that helps keep them, as popular as they are. I mean, some of their movies are, pretty big budget movies to where it's like they spend money they spend budget on their own movies that are, normal theater quality level of film, and they certainly won their share of. I don't know. Max has won their share of Emmys and things as well. Max is another one that definitely produces a lot of high
But that's
quality original
HBO.
programming.
I mean,
that's
HBO
true.
is
Yeah, they've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
They've got it built up. Yeah.
They got a head start on everybody.
It is astounding, and I know we talked about it. I don't know how long ago, but sometime within the last year or so, we did a little segment about Netflix, and it's crazy. It is crazy to think back in such a short time. When they were just mailing you DVDs in the mail,
That was
and
it.
you'd send them back, and they'd send you another one, and you didn't even in the beginning, you didn't even fucking you had the ones that were on your list. But you didn't control which one even came next. Just one of the ones you want to see is going to show up at your door.
Right.
It's just wild. They really have made astounding leaps in a very, very short amount of time.
They could do more about the foot fetish videos and content on there. Other than that, I think they do fine.
Yeah.
Based on what you watch, you may enjoy these. And Dean's list is like all feet.
All feet.
Because you watched
All
Feet on
feet.
the Street #4, these are recommended for you.
Not as good as 3, but still, they switched up the cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
It lacked a little bit of that oomph that I appreciated from the first 3, but it was still very good. It was still very good.
Yep, Turkish bath feet 14. We watched that at Dean's the other day, actually.
And I still think you should have won an Emmy for that, Brian.
Yeah.
Pavement Pounders, what is this?
That was not a foot thing. I want to warn you, if you're looking for a foot thing, Pavement Pounders was not it. It is a totally different genre.
Yeah. I was featured in Flintstone Feet 5. So check that out. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I didn't know you could spread your toes like that. It was
Yeah. If you like Fred Flintstone looking feet, then look no further. Other hues. So for the in the pop culture
he's all
world,
flustered.
that's right. I was trying to get to the next story. So in the world of pop culture for Nick this week ago, we have two sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Two sides of the spectrum.
Well, he's on it.
I was just going to say, Dean is definitely on the spectrum.
Deep, yeah.
Feet don't fail me now. On the terrible side of the spectrum for Nick was the whole Golden Bachelor divorce. Yes. Now on the 180 degrees opposite, when you talk about just what is one thing that brings Nick a lot of joy besides we had an Arnold Schwarzenegger story. Well,
that's right. Yes, yeah.
Yep. Well, it's not Golden Bachelor to Golden Shower. Not quite that transition here. But Taylor Swift, as a gentleman, has a new album dropping in a matter of hours from now. We're shooting this on Thursday evening. I believe it's at midnight tomorrow morning,
drop.
if I'm not mistaken.
April 19th is the day.
Tortured Poets Department is the album. Mm-hmm. I guess an homage to a former boyfriend or something like that. So
that'd be a first for her. Yeah, that'd be a first for her. She's breaking new ground.
Breaking new ground, exactly. And the subject matter she has not been so bold to express before. No,
getting real personal.
That's right. So just let's start there first of all. I mean, Nick, I know you are truly a Taylor Swift fan. So are you excited for the new album dropping? What do you think about this exciting news, sir? Go ahead,
I'm very excited. This is Taylor. We the thing that makes Tay-Tay so special to us Swifties and the masses in general is that we almost evolve with her, right? Through her journey of this life. Her songs are simply anthems of our life. They are the soundtracks of our days, right? So it's exciting to hear what new tracks will be narrating this stage, this era, if you will, of my life, and how she will narrate and weave her own life experiences within mine. That's what makes her so relatable. So really looking forward to hearing the new classics, because they will be instant classics. The second they hit your eardrums, they are instant classics, and they will be held in your heart and spirit for years and years, for the rest of your years on this mortal in this mortal coil on this floating rock through space because she transcends space and time. So this is going to be really an epic day tomorrow. Very excited.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Dean feels the same. I know we can just probably.
I know this is confusing and you don't understand, but Nick is an actual grown adult. I know it's confusing.
That's how I understand. That's how I understand these type of nuances of art and music and life and the way they go hand in hand. That's the only way you can really grasp the gravity of these situations.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, this gets to our Ask an Idiot segment here, guys. So, obviously, huge news, and Taylor Swift certainly when she drops a new album, and there's other artists certainly in that realm. It's not just her, but certainly a lot of fans are super excited for any new Taylor Swift, anything to drop, any new music or anything of the kind, just to get a glimpse of her. People are excited for. But the album drop, certainly the event has changed over the years, and as in the digital age and streaming and so forth. So I'm interested now. I mean, certainly, Nick, you're clearly interested for this album here, but just the event itself. This is what I want to ask you guys here. Are you still excited about new albums dropping? Is that something that is maybe for you, has it maybe eroded over time? And if you're not as excited about a new album dropping these days in the digital age or otherwise, do you recall the last time you were excited for an album to drop or be released? And what was that album? So, Dean, why don't we start with you, sir? Is this an event in general? Go ahead, please.
Well, since there's 45 questions in that question alone,
that's right.
Let me start with the original. No, I'm not.
Dean's never liked music.
It's loud. There's a lot of noise.
The joyous excitement around humans.
Kids are gyrating and moving.
When it makes the kids smile, I get mad. I don't like the kids smiling and being happy. Those the booming and the rocking and the shaking and the funking. I don't enjoy that. Watching the kids be happy doing that. Fuck them, as I want to say.
Dean says, "Fuck the kids."
Actually, that's what I was going to say until I realized I shouldn't put it that way. That's why I kind of got backed up with the word. No, I used to, back in the day, I was excited, when a rock album or that I enjoyed dropped, but no, I don't listen to music that way anymore. So I honestly don't know when something drops. I don't even listen to terrestrial radio anymore. So I don't even know when new music comes out. Unless it comes up through Pandora, as I'm listening it on shuffle, I have no clue. Or Nick tells me about it. I have no clue what's going on in that sense.
Taylor Swift has a new album coming out tomorrow, Dean.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
When's the last album Dean you were excited about? What's the last one? Do you remember?
Frank Sinatra dropped an album. What year was that? No, I actually don't remember. What the last album was that I was excited about. It's been a long time, very long time. Not to say that I wouldn't be excited. Like I now get, the more I've gotten into vinyls, I enjoy going and searching for albums. And I actually do get to see some newer music coming out because of those searches, because they have the bin or the, section with new releases. So I do get to see, I would, if we wouldn't have talked about it here, I would have seen that Taylor Swift's album come out because I would have gone into whatever store.
Right.
And I would have seen it. So in that sense, yeah, I guess I do enjoy the new albums. But it's a little different with vinyl for me because there's like a list in my head of old stuff I'm looking for, and that's kind of half the fun. So I don't really search for new music, but I am, I guess, aware in that sense.
Okay. So just the digital age in general.
Yeah.
You have to keep up with it to really understand what's going on. It's not like going into the store like in the past, which definitely has changed a lot of that event in many respects. We grew up in. Okay, Nick, what do you? I mean, obviously, you are genuinely excited. I know for this album for Taylor Swift, but do you normally get excited for any new music, or is it like, it just depends on the? I don't know. Go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not changed at all from when I was a teenager. Like a band that I love. Actually, all joking aside, tomorrow my very favorite band of all time is coming out with their 12th studio album. Pearl Jam's new album comes out tonight at midnight as well. Dark Matter.
Okay.
I am fucking ecstatic. That's, I mean, like I said,
Awesome.
it's my favorite band of all time.
Now, how do you know that? So just curious. So now,
because he enjoys the music above all the other bands.
No,
yeah.
Just,
but
you
I do.
follow them
Actually,
on social
not
media.
just
How do you know?
Yeah, another band that I love, the Ghost Inside's got their album coming out tomorrow as well. So both of those I've been waiting for, the last couple months, looking forward to that coming out. But yeah, I know about it because it is different in the social media age. But I guess it's, back when I was younger, you hear about it on the radio. We still have the internet, so it's not too dissimilar, I guess. But now it's following these bands on social media accounts. I also have an incredible app called Bands in Town, which is really great for letting you know artists that you follow when they're playing a show near you. And typically, you'll just hear through the grapevine.
That's an app?
It's called Bands in Town. It's got your location, and then it syncs up across your Spotify, your Apple Music, all that stuff. Bands you follow and like,
interesting.
Automatically, it throws in your cloud, and every time they're playing a show, you get a push notification. Hey, they announced a show near you. So you always know when they're coming around. But definitely,
is Frank Sinatra on there?
I'm sure he is. Yes.
Okay.
You won't get new show notifications probably, but if a new album comes out, the account will probably send you a message saying this greatest hits of Frank Sinatra has been released, or B-sides.
I just want to go see him live.
AI Frank, maybe.
Yeah. AI Frank is on the horizon. But yeah, I mean, I definitely, that has not changed. And I've always, I don't know, I'm still super into new music and super into like, I keep up with all the old bands I've always loved, the ones that, really I hold near and dear to my heart. I still follow them very closely and try to see them when I can. And I listen to a lot of new music. So finding new bands is always a passion. Like I love finding out new artists and listening to their entire catalogs and getting into everything that I can when I find somebody I really like. So, but yeah, it is different. I will say, this is very topical because I just, these last couple days, I'm in the past, what I do miss is going to a store and buying the album. Like I miss that. Okay. Yeah. So like I loved, I mean, I'd have a countdown, like when I was in my 20s in high school, middle school, I'd have a countdown how many days. And then that day when I get out of school, or I can get to a Best Buy, or I can get to an exchange or whatever, like I'm going to buy it. I can't wait. It's an event. Get it, peel off the plastic, get in my car, put it in the CD player or whatever. It was a rush to just get that. Like I couldn't wait to like get it in my ears and learn the songs and read the lyrics and do all that. Still have that. But now like I'm the amount that I buy.
I felt that same way about my Gene Pitney album.
Yeah, sure. But the way that I buy albums has drastically changed. I now really only physically purchase hard copies of music by like two bands of that I love that are still currently like active and putting out new music. It's like Pearl Jam and Parkway Drive. Those are the last new albums I've bought by anyone, I think, like physically. There again, like Dean said with
the
vinyl.
CDs?
It's weird because like Pearl Jam's album tomorrow, I will go after work tomorrow and purchase it in a store on CD because I have over 100 Pearl Jam CDs on my shelf that like it has to be that format because I have
to match
it
the
all
rest.
on CD.
That makes sense.
The last Parkway Drive, for example, I had all those on CD, but I bought it on vinyl just because I had just got a record player and I was like, I want it on vinyl. They had a cool purple stonewash color swirl vinyl thing. I'm like, I want that version of it, so I bought that. But yeah, like it's that experience is different, and I do miss going to a store. But I had to like research today. What stores will the deluxe album of Pearl Jam be available in? Pearl Jam is Pearl Jam, so obviously their CDs being sold at Targets, at Walmarts, at the Exchange, every place like that. The Ghost Inside in metal circles is a popular band, but they are not appealing to, the masses. They're not being played on active rock radio stations. So like, yeah, I don't like Walmart's probably not going to have their CD. I'd have to buy that online. And I probably just won't buy that one. The flip side of that, I do miss that experience.
Have you tried Sam Goody's?
Sam Goodies, yeah. I'll hit that up after the what was the Tower Record Store? Yeah.
Yeah, you can check there. Check there
Yeah.
for
Rolling Acres Mall has a couple
Yeah.
of record stores,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Last I heard.
Music Land as well. That was the other one on Rolling Acres in the day.
Yes.
Coconuts, maybe.
Coconuts, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, the flip side of that though, what is cool, I do miss that, but what's cool is, and I've thought about it, I might just stay up after this podcast and listen to Dark Matter like by Pearl Jam tonight at midnight. It'll be out at midnight. I don't have to wait through work tomorrow if I don't want to.
Right.
I don't have to make a special trip to the store or on my drive to work in the morning. The album's there, it's on my phone. I pay a monthly fee to Apple and I have the complete catalog of most of music and recorded history right there on my phone. So that is really cool. That is a really special thing that is easy to overlook because we get nostalgic and we look back at those fun things, those fun trips to the record store. But it's amazing that like it's just there on your phone now, and that is really cool. But yes, I do. I still love new music, and it's rare that I buy it in the physical form, but I absolutely, I mean, still get just as geeked out. Like when I'm really waiting for a new album or a band that I really love, I can't wait to hear what their newest stuff sounds like and what the musical evolution is, what it's going to sound like, and like I was joking about Taylor Swift and the anthems and but with Pearl Jam, it is that way because like their music, I mean, since I was a child, I've grown with their music and different albums represent different eras of my life, and Dark Matter is just the newest one. That'll be when I listen back to this album over years, it will remind me of this place here in time right now.
Your back.
I bet you do.
I do have a question, Nick. You can maybe help me out here. Apple Music. You said you have a subscription. Is that part of your Prime subscription, or is that a different thing?
Different.
No, Prime is Amazon.
I have Apple.
No, I'm sorry. Prime. I'm mixed up. But like I have Apple. I subscribe to Apple TV. That's not like Prime would be the whole thing. Apple doesn't do the whole.
There is a version. Look at there is a version of I think it's Apple Plus or Apple. There's
I do have Apple Plus
thing that you combines arcade, Apple Music. TV might be one of them, but there's a family thing you can get on for a higher monthly rate, but it lumps in a bunch of services. So look into that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I have that too. Yeah. So I have an Apple family subscription that I share with Peyton. It's like, I don't know, $15 a month, something like that. So it's funny. My original thought was like, well, if I go buy, this is years ago. We've had this now. We've had this for a year, probably at least 5+ years. We've had a subscription to this now. In my head at the time originally was like, well, if you're going to listen to new music, it's really the equivalent of if you buy one album or one CD a month, if you're just going to get yourself new music, that in itself pays for it, and the library is overwhelming. It's the equivalent of. I'm sure that other streaming services are similar. I'm sure the paid subscriptions like for Amazon Music, etc. But it's almost again it's the equivalent of walking into exactly. It's right. It's like walking into.
You can listen to Mel Torme.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like
mention it's like Netflix where like whatever you listen to, it'll like there's a daily playlist for you. Some of it's stuff that's based on what you've been listening to, what kind of stuff you like, and your favorite songs that you listen to a lot. Like there's it's curated every single day. It's a different one. Yeah, it's your own shit. You can make your own. There's things curated just for you. It'll play new music it thinks you will like based on the genres and the artists you listen to on a regular basis. Like yeah, it's pretty cool.
And they have like radio stations, if you will. There's no DJ, but it's like
based on an artist. Playlist. Yeah,
so it's a play. I want to listen to the AC/DC radio.
Is that the same place where you're going to get your different podcasts as well, like this one?
I'm not on music. The Apple Podcast is a different thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Some are like if it's an Apple owned, like I was telling you guys about that Strombo show. You can listen to the same version of that show on podcasts or Apple Music. It's like a radio show, but it's across both. But it's by Apple. Like Apple does that show. There's that Apple the music show today with Zane or whatever. That Zane's thing is the same thing. But yeah, that it goes across both platforms, and then you can listen to it on either. But it's the same exact show.
Gotcha.
I have to look at that. We are on Amazon Music podcasts. So it's something that we went to them and shared our RSS feed, and we were there. So if you have an Amazon free subscription or whatever, then you can find us there as well. So, but yeah, all that stuff's there. So I think it's worth it. Some of those, again, you could find your own package and price that makes sense. But like I said, anything you could think of, you could you could just listen to it. It's really fascinating. There's no excuse. Okay. So for me, it's like it definitely.
I was gonna say you grew up with going for many years going and buying records. How's that for you?
I mean, it's hard to compare just because of the world has changed so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
when you started, they were on wax cylinders.
Sure, that's right. That's right. You listen to Thomas Edison, and like,
Mary Had a Little Lamb. That was a huge hit.
Yeah, I mean, there was something nice about the excitement of when I was in high school. That was the age of the cassette, right? Because that was the portable music was a cassette tape at the time. Cars had a cassette player, etc. I do miss the excitement of going to the record store and getting your new tape and the smell. I can still smell a new tape right now. Sure. I think about it. You know what I'm saying? And then the lyrics and the art and everything, just like a new album at the time. Yep. So there was definitely something fun about that.
Little things like the sound.
Yeah.
That sound when it first opened, the cracks it open.
Yeah. And I still have some tapes right now that have some of that residual smell still, which do I smell them once in a while? Of course I do. It's just that it's very nostalgic and everything else. But
you're an odd
it's
man.
Really. Yeah.
And when Brian will be in his basement huffing tape cassettes.
Yes. That's right. That's right. I'll be huffing tape cassettes, and he'll be huffing because he walked 3 steps. But no, but it's just different. It's really. I'm not as into. I'm like Dean though. It's like there's so much out there. It's over, but it's really almost inexcusable in today's world. If you really want to keep up with a band, it's so easy to do that anymore. They probably have a social media account. You can look anything up online and easily find when new music is dropping. So you just have to pay attention. It's just we're so inundated with so many choices and things that for me it's a little bit hard to keep up with, but it's definitely there. When something new, it is still exciting. Right around a year ago, the new Metallica album dropped, 72 Seasons, and I was excited for that. That was when I was like, I was definitely wanted to listen to it. It dropped. I listened to it right away. It was a great album. It is a great album. You just have to sort of pay attention. So I do love the convenience. I do like the fact on streaming now, a lot of the albums have like some type of animated cover, if you will, on streaming, where the cover is some cool effect and there's animation to it a lot these days, and this and that and the other. Certainly you can find the lyrics online and everything. So it's still there. There's still excitement to it, but it's just different. The physical getting it. And I'm glad to hear that that's sort of coming back around, where younger people are, going out. I don't want to do it anymore necessarily. I mean, I've had albums, I've done all that stuff. I'm fine to stream. It's good quality, etc. But it is cool that younger generations are enjoying the physical copy experience again and collecting and that type of thing. It's pretty cool.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. That's the majority of what I listen to throughout the day. I really only listen to music when I'm mowing the lawn. So that's when I get my fill of Burt Bacharach. But I actually have it on vinyl. It's a backpack. I put the record on and I mow with it with the record going on my back.
Long extension cord.
Yeah. Because the yards, I had to get one of those extra long extension cords, but it works. It's good quality. There's nothing like that little scratchiness to Bert's voice that the record brings to it. I think you guys are missing out.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure. And there's an equal excitement on a weekly basis in Brazil every Monday when this podcast drops, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh,
yeah,
tantalizing.
Yep. Every Monday we have at least 2,000 to 10,000 people that they wait, around that statue of Jesus up on that hill up there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Every Monday. It's really a quite beautiful. If you haven't seen it, looking for it on. You'll probably find it out there on social media.
Just waiting to hear the docile tones of the Podlander himself coming through the airwaves.
That's right.
I have heard there's this. Have you guys heard about the new trend that's happening on Mondays? People take their sex doll, right, and they tape a picture of Nick's face onto it, play the podcast, and fuck the sex doll while staring into Nick's dead eyes. It's actually a lot like having sex with him in real life.
Yeah.
So they really get that experience.
That's right. That's right. All right.
There you go. Enjoy,
That's it right
ladies.
there. That's right.
Or fellas.
Enjoy on video.
You know, I'm not
Enjoy.
a judge.
I'm not judging. Nope, I'm not judging anybody.
All are welcome to use. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. I like that. That's a good shirt, perhaps. All welcome to use.
All are welcome to use.
That's right. I love it. All right, and we will be happy to be used again in segment 3. More music topics, or another music topic. Excuse me, coming at you after the break. Lube up, get your ears ready, clean out your ears, and let's get ready for segment 3 right after the break.
I'm back, bitches. Two. Somebody.
And, well, I'm fucking doing it. Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. This is segment number 3 of episode 187 that you are listening to. I am Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and old Wheezy Zennial Dean.
Wheezy should be my nickname. I like that.
Wheezy F baby. And we are back here this week. Dean is doing his best impression of a dying elderly man.
I thought you were going to say sex god, but no, we'll take that. All right, no, it's fine. It's fine.
We wanted to give you something that's within range that you can muster up, at least doing justice to. So we're going to go with the wheezing old man. It's paying homage to.
You do that with sex too.
Minimal movement.
Yeah.
Minimal movement. That's right. So I had a way to tie into that. It's not working now. We've interrupted it too many times. We're going to talk about covers.
About my junk.
We're going to talk about covers this week, gentlemen, for our third and final segment. We're going to discuss some of our favorite music covers of popular songs. One artist paying homage to another, if you will. So we're going to go around here. We're going to talk about our personal Mount Rushmores of cover songs. This is a really fun one, guys. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
Let's start with Dean, since he's had such an easy time getting words out this week. Let's go ahead and hear what you got.
I like you, Nick, have been looking forward to this topic for a while because
who covered Gene Pitney that you like, Dean?
No, my first cover.
They have to hear his music first.
No, it's beautiful. My first cover of my Mount Rushmore cover is going to be an Afghan.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be a quilt.
Okay. Just laugh at him now, Brian, so he'll stop it. Otherwise, he's going to keep doing this the whole fucking time. It's good. Oh, I get you.
First of all, I don't think Brian knows how to laugh. I don't think it's a possibility for him.
He's been doing a podcast with you for 3 years. He has forgotten.
He's forgotten how to laugh. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's right. Yeah.
My first cover is the song Jolene, originally done by the amazing and our favorite Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
And this cover is by Jack White.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't heard it,
I don't think I have. I've heard the Miley Cyrus one, but I've never heard the Jack White one.
No, she's garbage. Jack White does this on stage. So like I have it on vinyl, and it's done on stage at some concert. It's very cool and haunting, like his rendition of it. If you haven't heard it, definitely it's I think there's only that version of it from Jack White, but it's you can pull up on YouTube or anything like that. But yeah, Jolene by Jack White is definitely my first one on my Mount Rushmore.
I haven't heard it yet, but I guess on the new Beyonce cover or country album, excuse me, she covered
I
that
heard
song.
good things
I heard it's
about
very
this.
good as well. Like a modern version, changed the lyrics a
I'll
little bit
definitely
with
listen to it.
Dolly's. Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
All right.
Good. All right.
Brian, what do you got?
I'm going to give you some 80s metal here, guys. So I kind of like this. The cover's fun, but it's making my list in part because of the significance at the time. So this is Come On, Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot, the original by Slade. Quiet Riot covered a couple of songs by Slade. So, Quiet Riot, the very early metal band, not really hair metal yet. Hair metal wasn't really in existence. This is early 80s, like 83, 84 era, something like that. So they did not want to cover this song, but their manager, producer, record company, whatever, kind of pushed them to do so. And they did it in one take, I recall hearing. They had a video on MTV. And that song and Metal Health, the Quiet Riot Metal Health album at that era,
Metal
really...
Health is...
Yeah, Metal Health.
Is that a cover?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not them either.
Metal Health was original song.
It's like their two biggest songs.
You're right.
Original bastards.
Come On, Feel the Noise was the first song they did.
Come on,
and that was a video on MTV.
Noise.
I'm just saying. So that really shot that out. So that album, the Quiet Riot Metal Health album in general, with that song on it as the starter, really took metal at the time to new heights in the 80s. So that really was one of the very first bands that hit it big on MTV, etc. So it was a whole new music. It was mainstream radio. That song made it. And it just really skyrocketed metal at the time. So more and more radio stations played some metal songs and so forth. So it was really it just took that music to a whole other level. It was great. That was great fun. Just a great era to grow up in at that time. If you liked hard rock and metal music, that was just a fantastic era. And Quiet Riot really helped pave the way with that song. There you go.
Yeah, very good.
Nick? Yep.
And that's the song. I mean, like, I don't know another version of that song. I mean, I found out.
I don't either.
I found out probably within the last
very
15 years that that's not their song. I didn't know that because every time I've ever heard that song, it's Quiet Riot.
I actually think that we're going to end up through doing this topic, guys. We're going to say that a lot. Like, oh shit, I didn't know that was it.
I've got
because
on my
the
list
majority of music, especially like the 50s, if you look like shit, Elvis Presley alone,
sure,
his first, whatever amount of albums were covers of like old blues songs.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So with that said, Nicholas, what do you got?
Well, because I wasn't going to kick it off with this one, but because this is what we're talking about, exactly. Did not know that this was not written by them. My favorite band, Pearl Jam, covered a song that was written in the early 60s, I think, called Last Kiss by, I had to look it up today, Wayne Cochran was the original singer of that song. I actually listened to that version for the first time
and it's
today.
So close, isn't it?
Well, okay.
The composition, not his voice.
Yeah,
like the way
kind
he sticks relatively close to it.
It's more, the original version is more upbeat.
Who sang it, Nick, the original? Sorry?
His name is Wayne Cochran.
Okay.
Oh, no. But Pearl Jam covered it and put it on their Lost Dogs compilation, which was a bunch of B-sides and tracks that didn't get put on other
Such
albums.
a good song.
And I guess, I've heard them talk about this in like documentaries and things. They were talking about Mike McCready was, found this, he was in a record store, found this record, and, he has a very eclectic taste in music, and he was like, we should cover this song. I just think it would be cool to do. And while they were recording one of their albums, they were like, let's do Last Kiss.
See, I love that shit.
It is a very popular song for them. I've seen Pearl Jam many times over the years, and I have so many of their live albums.
Nick,
Mm-hmm.
do you get it? like after you learn that it was originally a 60s song, like listening to it again, you go, oh shit, it is a fucking old school,
Well,
60s
you can tell by the
song.
lyrics, "Out on a date in my daddy's car." That's
Yeah.
it's got an old feel to it anyway, lyrically. Even if someone had written it in modern times, it certainly has from a writing standpoint that they're coming at you from a very old style, going out getting milkshakes and burgers and out on a date and whatever.
Right.
So it had definitely had that kind of feel to it from a lyrical standpoint. But it's very popular for Pearl Jam. They play it most live shows. It makes its way into the set list. It's very popular. They've kind of made it their own. They've made it so popular that anytime you hear that song, you hear Pearl Jam's version of it. Last Kiss by Pearl Jam is definitely up there for me. Love that song.
Good
and
one.
Like I said, listen, it's very well. Yeah, it's just a very heartbreaking, very sad song about the car wreck. I was not familiar with the song.
You'd be
Guy and his girl are out on a date. They get in a car wreck, and he's basically recounting the experience that night and holding her in his arms as she's dying after this car accident. Very, very sad song.
I think 75 to 80% of the songs from the 60s were about teenagers dying, one way or the other. It's fucking, I guess, a very tragic time period back then.
Yeah, dangerous time to be a kid.
It really was. All right, my next one, Sound of Silence, originally done by Simon and Garfunkel, covered by Disturbed.
Great one.
This was a song because my father, who has been on this show, we did a few weeks ago.
He was?
Yep, not exactly what you'd call a Disturbed fan. But when I had heard that for the first time,
he is disturbed with you.
He is disturbed. Children. Yes, very disturbed. Yeah. But not a fan of the band. More of just the emotion. So when he had when it first came out, I brought it to him and had him listen to it, and he was a big fan. So there is at least one Disturbed song that Don enjoys, and
there you go.
And Sound of Silence is it.
Yeah, great version. Haunting.
Yep.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. The original also great. That's the thing with a lot of these too. The original and not all of these. The original is almost equally as good as the cover. Definitely some are, like that one. Certainly, the original is fantastic. The Disturbed version is great. This is definitely one that fits that description. So, Marvin Gaye's song, I heard it through the grapevine. The original, fantastic. I really love the cover by Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's one of my favorite CCR songs. Just a different whole vibe of that's, CCR is a band you probably either really like them or you're just like, I don't really get it. I don't understand the sound.
I am right now trying to think if I've ever heard
it's a long
the grapevine
song
by CCR.
It's probably a good 10 minutes.
I feel like I have. But it's not.
All right, I'm gonna actually start making a list of what some of these you guys are saying. So
just a lot of fun. John Fogerty, just fantastic vocals and just a total CCR vibe and sound to it. I guess it's one of their longer songs they did. It's very, very good. So check that out. Love that version, and it's made my top 5.
All right, nice. I'm gonna put that on the list there.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Nick.
This one you're all familiar with. This was a very great song in its original form. The Eurythmics made Sweet Dreams, and Marilyn Manson took it and put a completely different spin on it, and made it very Marilyn Manson on the Smells Like Children EP. That was
what did you say?
The EP was called Smells Like Children. That was the name of the EP that it appeared on. Yeah,
I honestly didn't hear the EP part, and I thought you said it smells like children's pee.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, whoa, what's going on there?
But just a great version of the song. Like I said, I love the first one. The Eurythmics version is fantastic. But the way, and Marilyn Manson has remade he's covered many songs, many songs, and usually does a really good job with them. But this one in particular, I think, was the first one that he did. And other than covering things on his first album from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but this was definitely one that got a lot of radio play, and still to this day. I mean, I would say if you're listening to a rock station and you hear a Marilyn Manson song, if it's not "The Beautiful People," it's definitely "Sweet Dreams." It still gets played a lot, and Marilyn Manson has certainly his faults, but he definitely did not have any faults in making this rendition of Sweet Dreams. So that is why it is on my list.
Yeah, very good. A lot of ebbs and flows of that version. Marilyn Manson did a few great covers of 80s songs.
Pain of Love.
Tainted Love. Personal Jesus was very good.
Have you guys heard his cover of the MASH theme? Now, the TV show, this isn't a joke. The MASH theme, if you've heard the MASH theme, da, 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 it actually comes from the movie. It's a song that they sang in the movies called "Suicide is Painless." And he does a cover of it that is fucking fantastic.
Okay.
If you get a chance to look that up.
All right. Okay.
Sure, there's no punchline. You're not joking.
No.
Okay. I must have been alive because I'm like, I've never heard of this. And
No, "Suicide is Painless" is the lyrics to the MASH theme. It was done in the movie MASH, and then Marilyn Manson for it was probably one of the compilation CDs that he did, for some movie. But yeah, he did a cover of it, and it's really fucking good.
Okay. Good.
All right, my next one is comes from the great Michael Jackson. It is "Billie Jean," but this cover is done by the great Chris Cornell. He did it live on. There was a French. He did like a show in France with a live set, and you can get that album. And he does that amongst other covers and some of his original stuff, also from his other bands. But the cover of "Billie Jean" is one of my favorite covers, period.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very good. Every time you hear him sing, man, it's such a fucking tragedy, man.
It is.
That guy. Yeah, man, god dang it.
So sad.
Yeah. Okay. Not many people know that this is a cover, and Nick, being a Kiss fan, I know you know this version for sure. So Kiss back in the late 70s decided that each individual member was going to make a solo album, which they all did, which was pretty much almost the nail in the coffin for the band at the time here. But the great Ace Frehley made a solo album, and they did a great cover of "Back in the New York Groove." So a lot of people think that's an original Ace Frehley, but it is actually not. It's a cover song. The original by a band, Hello. I've never heard the original that I could think of, but Ace certainly made that song his own. It became a staple in the Kiss concerts at that time. Ace always sang it. Ace, to this day, it's one of his, if you go see Ace Frehley, which I have, his solo tours, he definitely sings that as like one of his encores. He always sings it, without question.
Yep. Yeah.
He plays the guitar, lights up and
songs,
stuff. It definitely is. And when Kiss did the reunion tour, Ace had to sing it then, of course. So huge song, great vocals by Ace Frehley. Definitely has the feel of, it's great hearing a guy with Ace's New York accent sing a song about New York. A lot of fun. So great version. Back in the New York Groove. There you go. Nick?
Sidebar, Ace also does a great Fox on the Run
yes,
cover
he
as
does.
well. That's where initially when you started with Ace, I thought that's where you're going.
The vocals of the original, Ace sound, I mean, they're eerily similar as far as the original. I don't remember who's saying the original, but yeah, you're right. Ace tends to do that. He almost every album, he tends to have a very good at least one cover. He's got a new album that's dropping. I think this dropped, by the way, Nick. So check out the new Ace Frehley album while we're at it, by the way. But yeah, so there you go. Good, nice. Good stuff. Cool. Yep.
All right. Am I up? Is it me?
Yes, you are. You are.
Next one. This is. If you ask me what my very favorite cover of any song by anyone ever is, it's probably this. It is so beautiful and so well done. The great Tom Petty has a very popular song called "Free Fallin'."
Yeah.
And John Mayer
Jesus, it's
does
so
an acoustic version of it on his
really?
live in Los Angeles. There was a he did back in probably 2007, 2008. He did a show in LA where at the time he warmed up with an acoustic set. So he was the opening act, then he came out for the middle set and performed with his blues trio, the John Mayer trio, and then for the third and final set, he was his John Mayer, all his hits and stuff like that. It's incredible. It's just the whole show's great, but his acoustic stuff that he does is so
You're
great,
right.
and he closes with "Free Fallin'." And the
Never heard it.
tempo,
I gotta listen to this.
it's acoustic, it's beautiful.
Voice
The
takes
tempo
some
of
of
it
those
is
notes.
changed.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just when I hear, and Tom Petty,
You're right, Nick. That
Tom
might
Petty's,
be
it's
my
an
number one.
It's an iconic song,
Sure.
and Tom Petty is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But for John Mayer to take a song like that with that type of power, that type of legacy, when I hear "Free Fall" by Tom Petty on the classic rock station, I'm hearing
Yes.
John Mayer's cadence to the song in my head.
100%.
That's the one I hear. That's the one I listen to, and it's beautiful. It gives me chills every time. It's just so good.
Nick, tell me if you agree with me on this for that song. Is I can't. I am not musical, as in I can't play an instrument. I definitely can't sing. Right?
Just plays a bean skin flute, Nick. That's it.
That he do.
Well,
yeah, he do.
you gotta
He
have
got
a
the
talent.
dexterity
You gotta
for
at
it.
least
That
have
he
one
does.
talent.
That he does.
Look, Mom, no hands. But the one thing I hear that song, and for some reason, that is the song where I get fucking super jealous of how good he is with his vocal range. Brian, if you haven't heard "Free Fallin'" by Tom Petty, YouTube that shit. It is fucking terrific.
The Tom Petty I've heard, even the John Mayer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, John Mayer.
Yeah, he must.
That's okay. I will
listen to the Tom Petty too, but definitely
absolutely. It's a
great song.
Yeah, but absolutely, it's I every time I hear it, I just in my head I would go, God damn it! I am. It is. It's my favorite cover of any song by anyone ever. It's just perfect. I think another thing about it is it does a really great job of keeping the spirit and the sound and the tone of the first one, but it's his own spin on it. It's the same. It's hard to explain, and Brian, you'll have to listen to it and let us know what you think. But it does a great job of being the same, but yet its own thing at the same time. And I can't make sense of it any other way than just saying that. Anyone who's listening that has not heard it, whether you like John Mayer or you don't, I still recommend you go listen to this song. It's just gorgeous piece of music. So go check it out. But yeah, "Free Fallin'" by John Mayer.
You're right, Nick. That actually might be my number one.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm pulling it to switch it up with something now so we have different things.
Sure. Yeah, I got a bunch of honorable
that was
mentions,
definitely my
yeah,
list.
we double up. Yeah.
All right, my next one. It's been covered to death, but as it should be because it's a beautiful song. "Hallelujah."
Oh, sure, yeah.
Sure.
By Leonard Cohen. I think everybody has their own favorite version of that song. Mine is by Rufus Wainwright. Everybody does a little bit different, different music, different tone, different style. But my favorite will always be Rufus Wainwright for "Hallelujah."
Okay.
You have to send that in the group because like you said, it's one of those ones that's been covered so many times that I don't know which one is the version that I hear in my head. When I hear that song, it may be a cover. I'm not sure, and so I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
familiar
original
with
is Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen is Leonard Cohen.
I'd say that name is probably.
No. I mean by that as in he's very distinct voice.
Okay.
Very deep voice. So is every David
maybe
said
that's
the
not the
Lord. I don't think most people haven't heard Leonard Cohen's version, even though he wrote it and originally done it. His was not the popular one. Jeff Buckley, Rufus Wainwright, and what was those? It was like the Acoustic Five people that sing Punxsutawney Phil or some shit like that. But anyways, there's only a few that are really. I can't remember the name, but it's something like that. It's like an acoustic
Good.
band.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm not familiar with that song. I don't know that
Yeah,
one.
we got Punxsutawney Phil singing Hallelujah. But Rufus Wainwright is my choice for the covers.
Very good.
Nice.
Excellent. Next one I have is a popular TV theme, the Night Court theme sung by Enrico Palazzo. Guys, I don't know if you've ever heard this version. That's just a joke.
I masturbate.
Nick does not get that joke because it's a Naked Gun reference.
He
That's
doesn't.
Okay. That's all right.
I've never heard a Night Court song. I don't know what that joke is.
Yeah.
I don't know who that. I don't know.
That's all right.
I mean, Brian, you've gotten me, rock hard in the past, but nothing like what you just did right there. So.
I'm wearing a Led Zeppelin T-shirt. If you're watching a video, you would know that already. But
there's nothing to do with it. He just likes to describe what he's wearing.
That's right. That's right. No,
my favorite cover of my body is this Led Zeppelin T-shirt that I'm wearing right now.
It's covering my nipples.
That's right. I did not realize until I did research for this. I mean, this is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs. I just recently learned was a cover. I had no idea, so I put it on my list immediately. "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." Led Zeppelin. The original version was by Anne Breeden. No idea.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I know. I've never heard the original version, but I love the Led Zeppelin version of that song. If you've not listened to it, definitely check.
I'll write that down.
Yes, it is like a it's Jimmy Page playing acoustic guitar and the haunting vocals of Robert Plant. Just so good. It's like just that lighter. The guitar work in this is just. I mean, Jimmy Page is a genius anyway, musical genius in my opinion. So just exquisite, and coupled with the vocals, one of the best songs in my opinion that Led Zeppelin ever did. So never realized it was a cover. So fantastic, made my list. There you go.
Nice,
Nick.
Next on my list, and so we've discussed before my love for this particular movie, and in past episodes,
Naked Gun. We just mentioned Naked Gun, of course.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
This one is a cover of a Beatles song, and it is Blackbird, which is
yes.
Because of this version of the song, it is my favorite version of this song. It is by Evan Rachel Wood from Across the Universe.
Yep, very good.
A fantastic movie. I've mentioned before, I recently started listening to the Beatles. Actually, Nora and I had a nice talk at her birthday party about the Beatles because I was like, I don't know if you noticed, but I also recently just got into the Beatles. So we're having this conversation with her.
Well, a 9-year-old girl.
About the Beatles, and so we're talking about albums that we've listened to and stuff like that, and but yeah, so Blackbird, I became familiar with the Beatles music really in depth from Across the Universe, and to this day some of those versions are still my favorite, and it's a great song, but I remember the first time I heard the Beatles version, it's so different than there's really nothing sonically astounding about the Evan Rachel Wood from Across the Universe version of Blackbird. It's just
voice,
beautifully sang, and especially as you're watching the film, it's just a very cool moment. And I just that song has always hit me in a certain way because of my experience of watching that movie and hearing her version of it. So I absolutely love it. I know it's probably a little bit sacrilegious to say that you prefer someone other than the Beatles version of their songs. However, I just love that song. I love her version of Blackbird. Does it help you to know that it's also kind of a civil rights song?
It is. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I think Beyonce also, not joking, I think she also did a version of that song that Paul McCartney liked a lot. I think. So I think she also did a nice version. No.
Oh,
I think she also did a nice version that Paul
that.
McCartney. Yes, Paul McCartney has approved. It said it was a good version as well. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, great song. Great.
And also from, I'm not going to use my turn yet, but also from that movie, Across the Universe, I Want to Hold Your Hand. That rendition of it, by TV Carpio is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. That whole soundtrack.
It's a great movie.
I have that soundtrack on. See, it's just if nothing else, listen to the soundtrack. Even if you don't have time to watch a movie or you don't think it's for you, listen to the soundtrack for Across the Universe. Actually,
after I watched that movie, I bought the CD.
Yeah, same. Right.
Because of it.
Yeah. I was so into that movie when I first saw it. It was like the only thing I wanted to listen to for like a couple solid weeks. I just wanted to listen to that soundtrack over and over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
all right, my next one, number 5 on my list. Nick, if you say it's sacrilege to go with anything other than the Beatles original, well, then this is sacrilege. My next pick, because the Beatles, with a little help from my friends, it's where I originally learned the song. Was from the fucking Wonder Years show done by Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Good version.
Yep. I was older, before I realized and knew that the Beatles
song,
originally.
Though?
Yeah, the Beatles wrote it, and that's their song.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard that was a cover. No, I'm thinking maybe
Joe Cocker was covering the Beatles song. Just like
one of the the rare Ringo songs originally.
That's right.
Team? Yeah, great original version too.
And again, across the universe, that's a great version of it too.
Sure, yeah.
With all
Joe
the guys
Cocker,
singing together
and stuff. Yeah. He made it his own, that's for sure. Joe Cocker.
He did. And Joe Cocker also did. What was the? It was Ray Charles song. Brian, "You Are So Beautiful."
Oh yeah, wonderful.
That's a haunting version of it.
Armstrong.
You Are So Beautiful?
No, not
that's Ray Charles.
No.
No? Oh, I don't know what you're saying then.
It's not Ray Charles, though.
Let him sit in it. Okay, so, I mean, we could edit this.
Sorry.
But
that's all right. Yep.
That's not Ray Charles, is it?
Yeah, we're definitely editing this a little bit here. That's okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yours Beautiful is credited to Billy Preston and Bruce Fisher, who was the first released in '74. B-side of single Strutting.
Original Billy Preston? So did he write it?
Don't edit it out. I was right.
Did you say Billy Preston?
No, yeah, but I said it wasn't Preston. Ray Charles.
No, I said Billy Preston, as in when I read it.
But it wasn't a cover. It's his song, and I don't think Ray Charles.
Joe Cocker did cover it. Okay. I mean, it's originally two guys named Billy Preston and Bruce Fisher.
Okay. All right.
Brian, can you confirm that your cousin made this song?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Let's see.
We'll have Bruce on the show and find out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ray Charles did do it.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You can edit whatever the hell you want to happen. But I know Joe Cocker did cover that song. I was wrong.
Oh, yeah. His version probably is the most popular version.
Right.
I agree with you. But it was Billy Preston and Bruce. You're right. So that was their.
There you go. All right.
It's credited to them as on Preston's ninth studio album. So Billy Preston was on his album. But.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
And we're back.
There you go.
Nick was right. If you missed anything, Nick was right. That's all.
He was right. You don't need to know what was edited out. Just say he was right. All right.
Yep.
Or that he didn't know that he knew the right answer. He didn't know the right answer. He just knew Dean was wrong.
There you go. That's accurate. All right,
but the right answer. I just know that's not right. What he said.
With a little help from my friends. Originally Beatles, but the cover from Joe Cocker is
proven wrong with
5.
a little help from my friend.
No, that's not necessary. Brian, to talk so he stops, please.
My fifth on my list here, guys. One of my favorite covers of all time. This version, originally done by the great Bob Dylan, but this version. Definitely more popular, I am quite certain. All Along the Watchtower by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Just a fantastic, fantastic song. Just Jimmy, the whole feel of that song is fantastic. Yeah, Jimmy's vocals, guitar work, just phenomenal. Great version. That song. If you say, give me 2 to 3 songs you could think of Jimi Hendrix, that's probably going to be one of them that you remember from him. So just fantastic.
Yep.
But he was. I think the majority of people would be surprised of the amount of songs he written and even performed that were covered by so many different artists.
Mm-hmm. Bob Dylan, you're talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Bob Dylan was such a prolific writer of music that, like, you if you went through and go, oh, that was a Bob Dylan song, people would be blown away that, like, the amount of songs that they enjoy by other artists that covered Bob Dylan songs. Because he wasn't, let's face it, he wasn't the greatest singer. Like, sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's painful. But he was an amazing songwriter. So everything that he wrote and performed, people took it like Jimi Hendrix and just blew it out of the water.
Right. Yeah. Oh, just a quick sidebar, by the way. So this summer, Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, I believe it's the Outlaws Tour, which includes, if I'm not mistaken, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan. I think it's a great show to go check out. So we'll talk about that offline. But
we definitely should.
Seems like a very interesting
just so you can say you went to see Bob Dylan live.
And Willie Nelson.
That's one of those people.
And John Mellencamp, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know he wasn't dead.
Yeah, there you go. Still going. Still touring. All those guys. Name one of them.
Name point.
Yeah, right. Outlaws Tour. Check it out.
All right. Yeah. We'll
also, quick shout out to U2's version of All Along the Watchtower from Rattle and Hum. I like that version too a lot.
Okay.
U2 covered Rattle and Hum.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nick?
And then let's see, what do I got? One spot left here. Okay, well, I'm going to go with, this is not necessarily a popular band, but if you, listen to rock radio in the last 10, 15 years, Phil Collins has a very popular song called In the Air Tonight, and a band called Nonpoint covered them for
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't know, 2008-9 movie Miami Vice with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. It was used a lot in the promos for that. I think it was on the soundtrack, but Nonpoint's a solid band. They're not one that I necessarily keep up with on a regular basis, but their version of In the Air Tonight is very good. It's obviously a little bit heavier than the original. It's got more of that rock edge to it. Just a really
the irony is that movie
really
shouldn't have been covered.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, a great cover. Yeah, something that shouldn't have been redone led to a great musical cover. So there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, Nonpoint's version of In the Air Tonight. Like I said, they just took a song that wasn't previously a hard rock song and made it one. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Check it out if you haven't heard it. It's pretty decent. So that's my last one on my list there.
Very good. So, any honorable mentions?
A lot.
You want to just?
I do too.
You want to rattle them off, or just go around? How you want to do honorable mentions here, guys?
I'll just rattle them off real quick.
Rattle them off. Nick,
I'll start. Boys of Summer, originally done by Don Henley. I love the Atari's version of it. The only reason I didn't have it on my Mount Rushmore is it's not really any different. It's just
it's very
another
similar.
band doing it, but it's basically the same. And to this day, I absolutely, that song, even the Don Henley version, it's got a great beat to it. It's got a cool vibe. Love the song. Anyway, also, I have a Disturbed cover here. My personal favorite Disturbed cover was on their first album, The Sickness. They covered Shout by Tears for Fears.
Absolutely.
They titled it Shout 2000, but it's just a good new metal, heavier song, version of the original new wave song. I also have Imagine, that was obviously done by John Lennon. A Perfect Circle put out an album of all covers about peace, love, and war, and one of them, the first single off of that was John Lennon's Imagine, so Perfect Circle was great on that. And then another Pearl Jam entry, They Commonly Live. This was never on a recorded studio album, but many of their live shows, they cover Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young. And Neil has even been so gracious as to say that it's their song now. He has passed it on to them, saying they've made it their own. So awesome. Rockin' in the Free World by Pearl Jam on live is always just phenomenal. So, and I'll leave it there. My honorable mentions for this evening.
Very good.
So, Dean, what do you got?
All right. I'm actually going to need my glasses for this because I had to write them small towards the bottom here. All right. So I have honorable mentions. I Will Always Love You, originally done by Dolly Parton. Whitney Houston's version
Great.
was
Great
so
version.
huge.
Yeah.
Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. If you've heard Pink's cover, it is terrific. Gone Away by Offspring, but covered by Five Finger Death Punch, who is just amazing at covers, aren't they?
They are.
Like doing rock versions of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Again, House of the Rising Sun, originally done by the Animals, Five Finger Death Punch.
Great version.
Great version. And then one of my favorite latelys, cover-wise, Zombie, originally done by the Cranberries, remade by Bad Wolves.
Yep.
Yes,
that's a good
If you've
version
ever
too,
heard that, that is a terrific. They change up a couple of the lyrics just to date it, but it still holds the cover, and it's fantastic. So those are my honorable mentions. Brian, what do you got?
Very good. I'll give you just a few. Again, this is 80s. I love the band Wasp. They did a version of I Don't Need No Doctor, originally done by Humble Pie. Great 80s metal version of that song. Fantastic. Aerosmith, Big 10-inch Record was a cover of Bull Moose Jackson. I didn't know it was a cover either.
I didn't know that either.
Research it. Love that song.
My Big 10-inch.
Great version. Love that song. Van Halen, awesome cover of the Kinks. You Really Got Me. That was the Eruption led into that song. Great version, Van Halen. I didn't realize this, Dean, but the Top Notes original version of Twist and Shout, sung by the Beatles. The Beatles, fantastic version of Twist and Shout. Motley Crue, as I stay on the Beatles theme, did a great version of Helter Skelter by the Beatles. Loved that version by Motley Crue in the 80s. Nine Inch Nails from Cleveland, Ohio. Hurt, covered by the great Johnny Cash. Haunting, Johnny Cash's last album.
That was a good one.
Yeah, fantastic. Walk This Way, Aerosmith, covered by Run DMC and Aerosmith in the 80s, which actually helped Aerosmith get back on track, but a great rap version of that song. Metallica, Whiskey in the Jar, very famous cover of them, originally done by Thin Lizzy. You hear that Metallica version all over the place.
And it's so weird to hear Thin Lizzy's version of it now.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You think about the Metallica version when you think about that song for sure. Tainted Love, originally done by Gloria Jones, a quintessential 80s song by Soft Cell. That is one of the songs of the decade for sure, was the Soft Cell Tainted Love version.
So that even wasn't their original one.
No, it was not.
I thought Manson covered their original, and that was the first one.
Cover of a cover of a cover.
Oh, look at that.
It was. I did not realize one of Aretha Franklin's greatest songs was a cover by Otis Redding, originally Respect. I didn't know that. I did not know that was not an original Aretha Franklin song. RESPCT was not Aretha Franklin. So there you go. I have others as well, but that's
that two-timing bitch. She'd been passing that off as hers for years.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, I'll throw one more in. Sinead O'Connor just passed away recently. So that was an original. Nothing Compares to You. Her version of The Family, which was Prince. So Prince wrote that song, and he had a band, like a side project called The Family. Sinead O'Connor took a version of that was really just...
Nothing Compares to You?
Yes. That was... Prince wrote that song and covered it originally.
Was one of my...
Makes sense.
Honorable mentions, because Chris Cornell did it on that same album.
There you go.
And covered it. And it's delightful.
Fantastic song, and the video in the 80s was really well known. It was just O'Connor singing and crying.
Black and white.
Very popular lyrics and vocals there. So, all right. Quick question. We got about a minute or so.
Yep.
What are the elements of a good cover? We talked about these a little bit already. So what are some elements of a good cover?
Egyptian cotton.
Okay, well, besides Egyptian cotton as one of your favorite elements of a cover, so thinking of cover songs, Nick. So,
Mhm.
what are some elements of what makes a good song cover? Go ahead. What do you think, Nick?
Dean's heavy breathing is kind of
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Am I doing it now?
It is a lot. Yeah.
There's a
Tell me.
female.
I don't know.
There's a female
the
woman
microphone.
sleeping next to that on a regular basis, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, God damn it.
I've got allergies. Will you guys tell me when you hear that? I could adjust the microphone. I
Can
apologize.
you move your allergies away from the microphone? That's all we're asking.
I didn't know. I can't hear. I can barely fucking breathe. Fucking let me know about that.
I don't think
Dickheads.
honestly, this is like, usually you can take your own, spin of an answer. I don't have an answer for that one. It varies. There's not a common theme, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like all the covers I've picked here, some of them, for example, I've got Sweet Dreams. It's a different version, or Blackbird, a different version from the original song. The original song may be just fine, but they made it their own and did something cool and different with it. And then, you've got things on there that, like, the songs didn't change that much at all. I mentioned Boys of Summer by Ataris and In the Air Tonight's not much different other than it's I guess maybe taking a song that you're not totally changing the song, but putting your own spin on it, I guess, is the closest I could come to giving it, one common answer. But there's different, and Free Fallin' by John Mayer, like I said, is probably my favorite one, and that's the best balance of both, right? He took a song, he didn't totally change it. It's very recognizable, but it's his own version. There's no mistaking that, it's not too similar. He made it his own. So I guess it's a hard thing to really define. I guess somewhere in between taking an iconic song and putting your own spin on it, but not changing it entirely. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but it's the closest I can come. It's putting in a spin of originality on something that maybe is beloved or well known.
Okay.
So,
Dean, what do you think?
All right. I think that Nick has had a problem with my heavy breathing because he's not used to hearing heavy breathing in his life.
That's right.
So I'm going to start with that. But as far as covers goes,
thank you for clearing that up first and foremost.
It's bothered me. No, but there's actually two ideas, I think, for covers. One is the idea that there's brilliant songwriting out there that for some reason the artist just didn't quite capture it, but somebody else can take those amazing lyrics and really feel it and really put their everything into it. That's why you have so many of these covers that you go, oh shit, I didn't know that was cover. I thought that was the original, because there are these lyrics out there that these songwriters do that they just don't have it. You know what I mean? And I think the perfect cover is taking those obscure songs and really making them your own. On the other side is, like Nick was saying, it was taking beloved songs or a little better known songs and doing something cool with it. Changing it up, you love the song, you tap along the song, the lyrics, the beat, but then when you hear somebody else's interpretation of it, you're like, oh shit, that's amazing. You love both are cool, but you get these two left brain and right brain, so to speak, ideas of what the song could be, and I think that's exciting for the listener, is to hear the interpretation. And that's really what a cover is. Yes, like Nick said, you do have the covers that are just straight covers. They're just doing it beat by beat and stuff, which is still good. But my favorite is when I love those. I can't remember who it was. Give me a million years, couldn't think of it. But it's this guy doing Frank Sinatra-esque style, and he does rap songs. And it is fucking terrific. There is a something modern day jukebox band that takes all sorts of rap songs, rock songs, pop songs, and does it in a 1920s, 1930s era style. If you've ever been to Crafty Cocktail, they play this band a lot. In the background, because it takes all these modern songs and puts it into a 1920s, 1930s era sound. And I think that's the fun of a cover is the reimagination.
Yeah, I do like those. They have compilations. They're called Punk Goes Pop, where they take like popular
same
top 40
thing.
songs,
Absolutely.
and it's like alternative bands and stuff, heavier bands.
I love that.
Doing very popular songs. So just a different interpretation, or like Dean's interpretation of podcasting is breathing aggressively into a microphone. Like just a reimagining of something that everyone knows and just doing it completely differently. Very cool. So, yeah, Brian, what do you think about that? What's your idea of a good cover?
No, I think you guys are right. I think it's two types of versions of a cover, like you guys are saying. So one is a solid version of a great song that's very true to the original in many respects. Nothing wrong with that. There's definitely, cool versions of many covers that are very similar to the original song. But if you have the musical ability to take a song and make it your own and have a whole different, vibe to it, then that's just it's just great. And a lot of those, like I said, we didn't realize, even doing this research for this show, that they were even covers. Some of the songs that we like from some favorite artists, we didn't realize they were a cover, because they've done so well with taking that song and really making it their own and making it a almost a trademark for that band. So if you're going to do that, you better do it well. I guess that's maybe the point. Sure. If you have the ability to take a original song and put your own spin to it and create your own a version of it, that becomes
what's the adage? If you take a shot at the king, popular, best not miss.
That's right. Exactly.
Do it. You better fucking hit it on the money.
Right. That's right. That's right. Like the Whitney, Houston version of, I Will Always Love You. The Dolly Parton version is fantastic. So to beat that version or to compete with that version, you really did a more of a traditional, but just the vocals and everything, just a whole different level. Yeah. And then there's other bands, again, that have a whole different, like the Jimi Hendrix Experience with All on the Watchtower. It's not the Bob Dylan version at all, but it's such a true Jimi Hendrix sound. It just creates a whole other, version of that song that's even
definitely
more
one where he owns that. That's his song now.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah, it really is. So,
and even like you mentioned the Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You. Mm-hmm. That growing up when I did, and that was such a popular song.
I didn't know it was Dolly until
I had no idea that was Dolly Parton's song until pretty recently. I mean, I was like,
and then you hear it and you're like, oh, hers is fucking beautiful too. Like,
sure, yeah,
the way Dolly does
it. Different version, but yeah, I mean, still fantastic.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, good topic. Well, if you out there listening have some of your favorite
I'd like to hear other people's version or things maybe we haven't heard or we would like to check out. So people commenting in our social media accounts would be fantastic. We'd like to hear what kind of things. I appreciate your efforts to try to cover it up, but if that's what you're doing, but we still hear you.
Yeah. If you want to take Dean's breathing and mix it into your own original music, we'd love to hear it.
Cover me anytime.
Sure. Love to hear it.
Brian's been trying to cover you with a muzzle for many, many episodes now.
Well, he's going to hear my heavy breathing soon enough. Don't you worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing...
You going to put a muzzle on me, Daddy?
That's right.
Let's pay extra for that.
That's right. One thing, guys, that you can cover out there is your skin with some excellent tattooed artwork by our friends at formerly Golden Heart Tattoo. That they're still has the new name been finalized yet, you guys? Or I'm not quite sure.
Not
yet.
that I've heard.
Okay,
so we'll just stick with Golden Heart, I guess.
Right, we'll get that out to you. So Golden Heart Tattoo is soon to be something different in historic, fantastic Wadsworth, Ohio.
The Scott and Greg Show. That's what it's
Scott and Greg
called.
Show. Exactly right. So tell them you would like your own cover of, again, some terrific artwork. Just give them a call these days right now. Just 234-706-2982. Tell them you want covered, and they will be happy to oblige.
Scott's been asking me about starting a podcast with him, doing a wrestling podcast.
There you go.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
is that the truth?
Yeah. No. Yeah, he's asked me quite a few times. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
All
Be
right.
sure to keep an ear out for that. Like and
On the
subscribe.
Convincing Idiots Network.
There you go. That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be called Heavy Breathing and Wrestling Talk.
That's right.
Something like that. They're still workshopping the name, but something
We're
along that
workshopping
line.
it.
Mm-hmm.
We've done all this talk about covers and reimaginings of things, and has there been a better cover or a reimagination than that of the traditional bicycle?
No.
Than what
Not
our
really.
friends at RPM Bike Shop have done? Absolutely fucking not. That's right. They have reimagined your old-fashioned thoughts of a bicycle. They have reimagined it for the modern day and given you today's finest selection of electric bikes. That's right. If you don't believe me, you should head on over to their
That one with
Facebook
the
page.
seat missing.
Just search for RPM Bike Shop. They're located in Carrollton, Ohio. They are the ones with the fantastic electric bikes. You can also go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com, or give them a call at 330-808-7792 today and ride your way into the greatest remix of all time. That's right, you and your brand new electric bike.
Excellent.
Could you
That's
not
good.
make jokes about ass fucking when I'm in the middle of an ad read, Dean?
First of all, if I can pop Brian like that, which I've never done before, I'm not going to apologize for anything.
Please don't pop Brian while I'm ad reading. Please.
That's
You
good.
pop Brian on your own time, not during RPM Bike Shop's time. God
My
damn.
apologies.
All right, well, guys, we've covered many great covers.
Yeah.
We've covered ass jokes.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
have.
Covered
Humor.
heavy breathing. Yes,
Mhm.
I really don't know what else there is to
Heavy
cover, except covering the outro of the show, Nick.
Yes. Well, I would love to cover the outro. That's right. So,
No, can I interrupt?
no.
I don't do it that
we
often.
can be found on. You don't.
No. For people that hadn't been listening a while, or just new, they really don't know that your outro is not really yours. That normally, or back in the day, you used
That's
to
true.
cover them.
We used to do covers. Yeah, we used to do covers.
So
actually.
it's been a while.
Mhm.
And speaking of covers, why don't we hear a cover of the
Okay.
outro, if you will?
All right.
And I'm thinking of, out of all of these different covers we talked about, Brian, who do you think you got somebody in mind here?
I'm Nick. If you're searching for my name.
No, I'm talking to Brian. Bob Dylan.
Ooh.
Well, if it's
Dylan.
Bob, oh,
The king
Bobo
of being
you'd
covered.
like to hear from. In
Yeah, Bob
fact,
Dylan, yeah, I like it.
I was
yeah.
brought
Alright.
up earlier, and some
do it.
people thought I was dead, but I'm not. No, sir.
That
In
guy's an
fact,
idiot.
hitting the road this summer. So you should hit the proverbial road of the internet. All you have to do is search on Google Convincing Idiots
Why is he so
Linktree.
wobbly?
LINKTREE. And there you can find so many links to Convincing Idiots. You can also go to the website. It's convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm the great millennial Bob Dylan.
I'm the Zennial Dean.
Jet X Brian.
If we convinced you to join us for another moving musical episode of Convincing Idiots,
Everybody, Gen X Brian with Millennial Nick and Zennial Dean. We need more people besides Nick's mom watching us. Give us a like and subscribe.
Ham gravy.
Yeah, they wrote in the group message today that they were talking to somebody, and they said, we see every bar we go to, you guys have a tap handle out there. It's like everywhere we turn, we see you guys. So we wanted to give a shout out to Dina Melanie. Responded the way anybody should have. I said, if you're going to make a statue, it should be life-size because my public deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. They're lucky to have you.
I don't know what they would do with their lives without me. And that goes for all of you.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So scrape your pennies together. Let's get that statue going. I just got to figure out what pose would best suit me.
Probably you putting in eye drops would be the.
I like that.
Probably.
I like it.
I was just kicking my ass. I can't.
Yep.
You wheezing, putting in eye drops.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's going to be made out of Spam, I feel, like the statue.
I hope so. Jesus.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm lucky enough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Last 2 days tops. But that's not bad. That's pretty good.
I want a statue made of Spam so Brian can eat my ass for one last time.
Yeah. Good.